Hey everyone, this is AJYT Abbott, and today I have for you guys the review for The Walking Dead Season 9, Episode 2, titled The Bridge. We have a lot to talk about, including a log falling on top of Aaron's arm, a surprise relationship between Anne and Gabriel, styling someone a completely a-hole-ish savior, and it looks like he might be killed by a savior, or maybe recruited by saviors that have left and are trying to rebel against Rick. Also, Rick's questioned loyalties against Daryl, Maggie, and others, and and Tara's nickname for Rick. It's amazing. So, this episode was absolutely great. I don't know. I think this is kind of tied for last episode, because I really do love this episode. It starts off, we see everybody working together. Rick's talking to Negan about it. We get some great, nods to different characters, working together and everything. We get Tara and Jadis, together. That I thought that would go somewhere. I thought they would be a thing. But no, Anne ends up with Gabriel this episode. Are you shocked? I know I was. My live reaction. You got my reaction to that. So yeah. That's pretty cool. The most intense scene, hands down, was the log scene. Basically, this log falls on top of Aaron's arm, completely annihilates it. There's bones showing, blood everywhere. It's gruesome, gory, bloody fun. And then Enid has to perform surgery on it and amputates his arm. Aaron loses his arm in this episode, and that is actually really huge for his character because he looks like comic Rick now. And that is insane. And you know that, by the way, fantastic performance by Ross Marquand and Caitlin Nacon tonight. That was fantastic. I felt like I was actually in the real situation. And that's crazy, man. So yeah, that was an intense scene. By the way, in this picture you guys are seeing here, you guys can see right next to Daryl, our very own Casey Miracle. He's the guy that looks kind of bald. That is Casey Miracle from the Drunken Movie Night crew, the DMN crew. You can also see him in the background of Black Lightning, the first episode of that. Thor Ragnarok is one of the Asgard fighters, and I think he did some work on Ready Player One, and some other stuff for last season's Walking Dead. So anyway, also we got stuff going on at the Hilltop. Michonne is working out some deals with Maggie, and Maggie does provide food for the sanctuary, so that is good. So, there's no tension between them really. And Maggie goes to talk to Earl, of his wife down there to see him, and she eventually, she decides that she is going to let Earl out. So let's not forget, Earl is the blacksmith that Gregory got drunk and fooled into trying to kill Maggie. So she lets him go, and now he's working under supervision to fix the plow that got damaged in episode 1. So that's great. And I think that is a really good redeeming point for him, because that is the plow that his son died for. So let's not forget about that. So that's a crucial point for his story. I like that little comic story all wrapped up in a nice bow. We got some stuff with Alden this episode. We don't get any more, development on it, but he's actually comparing Rick to Negan, which I don't really like that much, because, Rick is not Negan. We all know that. But yeah. Also, when Rick talks to Negan at the end of the episode, Negan jabs Rick with a knife. Not literally. Not literally. You guys are probably sitting here like, what? Before you guys go look up Rick gets stabbed by Negan scene from Walking Dead on YouTube. He did not literally get stabbed with a knife. It was a vocal term. Pretty much, Negan was basically Rick's explaining what they are doing, and they're fighting to make a better future. And then Negan is like, for who? For Carl? And then Rick, that's like a jab for Rick, and Rick's like, you don't speak his name, and that pissed Rick off. But yeah, there's this savior that is really pissing Daryl off because he pushes down Henry, takes more water than he's supposed to. Daryl and him get into a fight. They fight. Rick breaks it up. And then, Daryl and Rick's loyalty to each other are tested. Actually, it's really Daryl's loyalty to Rick, because Daryl asks him if they're on the same side, and Rick is like, "Well, you tell me." And Carol's in the middle of it all, and I know it's hard to choose. I know it's hard for her to be on someone's side, but she says that Daryl is right. What the Savior did is not right, and he should be exiled. So that's exactly what Rick does. He does exile the Savior, and at the end of the episode, he gets killed, I assume, or maybe dragged into the woods. I actually have a theory that he got killed by a whisperer, and later down in the season, or maybe in the mid-season finale or something, we will see a mask of his skin. So that would be insane if we see that later on in the season. That would be a really cool, detail and nod towards that Savior. So yeah, Michonne and Maggie reach some deals about making some new rules. So that's gonna happen probably next episode. Anne and Gabriel, though, I can't get over that. That's crazy. Because they bond over the painting that Anne paints. And also, did Anne paint a picture of Glenn? I think that was Glenn that they showed. It's like right after Gabriel. It's right after her and Gabriel are talking about the painting that she made. Or it's right after they show the painting that Anne made for Gabriel, of the organ lady zombie from season 5. When they went to the food cannery. Cannery, I don't even know if that's a word, probably not. But yeah, that was very cool to see. But yeah, I think she's painted a picture of Glenn, so that's fantastic, and I love her for that. So yeah, also King Ezekiel and Carol, their relationship's continuing. Jerry and Nabila, that's great. I loved Henry in this episode, taking down that Savior after he took more water than he was supposed to. That was fun. And I like seeing the different Saviors working together. Rosita and Arat, they have this fun little bit of dialogue. Arat's like, "Well, did you trust me?" And then Rosita's like, "After you put a cut on my cheek?" No. Which is actually really crazy, because in the story, that happened like 2 years ago, and Rosita still has the scar, so Arat must have cut her deep, man. So yeah, there's not really that much to talk about. I'm trying to see if I'm forgetting anything. Oh, Jadis and the helicopter. That is an insane point for next week. I'm excited to see where that goes this season. And what happens with Gabriel and some riots happening next episode. So yeah, that was all for The Walking Dead Season 9, Episode 2, called The Bridge. I will see you guys next week for my live reaction to Z Nation on Friday and Walking Dead Season 9, Episode 3 on Sunday. Goodbye.